Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Love and Light Show, where your special guest is Jacquie Daigle, and she's going to talk about how we can heal naturally with Earthwhims. So you're going to hear a little bit about what that is, because if you're feeling a little bit stuck in your life, or just like you need to heal more naturally and you're feeling called to natural healing and nature and connecting back to that, you definitely want to tune into this episode and invite your friends who are on the same wavelength as you, who want to know this stuff too, so that they can get the most benefit in their healing journey. So the Love and Light Show comes to you every Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern, to show you different and highlight different light workers and healers and amazing coaches, entrepreneurs, people who are contributing and doing so much great things in the world, so that you can see their message, their work, and get all kinds of inspiration and wisdom and knowledge and tips and tricks and tools that'll help you on your healing journey. Because I love the quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And it's so true, because we have to be that change first. We have to do the work and heal ourselves and do what the universe is calling us to do and follow our signs and really be that change, so that we can then hold space for other people in our lives, or our friends or coworkers who need to heal and know these things too. Then we can hold more space and grow and expand and help heal and grow our communities and the earth. So I really encourage you guys to tune in to what your signs are telling you and to follow those guiding steps whenever you feel called. And I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a happiness coach and healer. So I love to empower women through self-love and care, so that they can get to their dream happy life, where they feel happy and healthy and fulfilled and abundant and joyful and free. And I do that in a variety of different ways. I've been doing workshops for the past year for how to live your happiest life now, how to let go of stress and worry, clearing money blocks 101. So those have been the ones that I've been doing consistently, kind of like monthly. So this is the official last call for the live sessions of that. I'm going to do some tonight and some tomorrow. So if you want to get in on that, also, I'm going to give a little special discount to my Love and Light people who are in that tribe and community who really want to move forward in their journey. So even if you want to do like a package with them all, send me a private message and I'll tell you more about that, so that we can really get you in on that journey before I officially close those off. Because I'm starting to move into a whole different energy for a lot of different things that I'm really excited, and I'm like so excited to tell you guys about, but they're not officially launched, so I can't tell you about them yet, but I'm so excited to launch all kinds of new things in July. So I wanted to let you guys know about that before those close for the live programs. And we have an amazing healer with us today. She's such a bright and like beautiful soul. So Natural Healings with Earthwhims has so much behind it, and I'm so excited for Jacquie to tell you more about it. So Jacquie is a healing guide. She's a tarot consultant, and she loves to help people to get unstuck by using the many modalities that she has, by reintroducing them into those natural laws beyond just the law of attraction. So Jacquie, I'm so excited for you to explain this all to them. And how are you doing today?
Great. Thanks so much, Laura. And what an exciting intro. I could just feel your excitement. I think I'm going to log in and sign up to some of your workshops now.
Yay. Awesome.
So thanks again for having me on. It's really, really exciting for me to be able to talk about Earthwhims, because it's, you and I spoke last week, and Earthwhims started as sort of an idea that introduced itself into my mind before I even gave it some thought. I verbalized the idea initially of having a healing retreat at some point, probably 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. Throughout the years, I've been doing a lot of self-study and taking different modalities, like you mentioned, and honing some skills that I already had. And everything is really kind of connecting and coming together now. Mm-hmm. That I'm able to start offering services. And Earthwhims has become more of a philosophy or a way of life rather than a business.
Awesome.
So a lot of people who experience it, because it's really experiential, have varying testimonials. But the bottom line is that they all come away feeling happier, lighter, and having felt something shift within themselves. And that's the ultimate goal.
Awesome. That's so wonderful. We have all kinds of beautiful people joining us right now. So hi, Kim, and hi, Bernard. Thanks for hopping on, joining us live. Hello with all the smiley faces and happy energy. Thank you, Joanne. And my headset, I tried using like a different earpieces. I'm trying the different sizes because the other ones were annoying me, and these ones are too small. So sorry for everyone who I'm like continuously touching my headset right now. So can you explain to us a little bit about your modalities? So healing touch and how you use that with your people and how you integrate tarot with it and all the exciting ways that you help people heal?
Well, I've always been interested in natural healing, and I think if I were to go way, way back, it comes from my mom when I think I was probably 10 years old and got a bee sting, and she pulled some plantain leaves and made a poultice and healed it. And I was blown away. And then through the years, I inadvertently and quite accidentally started doing wildlife rehab. And before I got any formal training in wildlife rehab, I was doing a lot of the healing by instinct. And when I finally did get formal training, realized that a lot of what I was doing instinctually was actually correct. So it's only in the last few years that I've gotten confident enough in my ability to transfer that to human beings, and brave enough to allow me to lay hands on them to heal them. So last year I started doing my formal training as a healing touch practitioner with Healing Beyond Borders. And I'm currently at level 4 out of 5, which is
awesome.
Load. The coursework is extensive. I have many treatments I have to provide to people. I have an extensive reading list. Right now I have 7 books that I have to read. I have some under my belt already. And just to give you an example of the science behind healing touch, one of the categories is quantum physics. So we understand the energetic centers of the body, molecular memory, all of that stuff just sort of encompasses in using a healing modality that's energy-based, like healing touch. The tarot side of things kind of happened where, again, as a child, thanks to my mom, she taught me how to read fortunes using a regular deck of playing cards.
That's awesome.
I had a knack for it, and it's just in the last 20 years that I discovered tarot and studied that extensively to the point now where I've been doing professional tarot readings for people probably for the last at least 10, 12 years.
Awesome. I love that. And I didn't even know that you could do it with like regular playing cards until like, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. I was starting to like play with my cards more, and then like just like oracle cards and stuff like that. And I was expressing interest to a friend who also does tarot and being like, so how do you do this? How did you like, she's like, well, here's a regular deck of playing cards. She's like, read me right now just with this. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I was spot on, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's the intuition that counts, not the physical cards. But the physical cards are beautiful, and I'm not saying anything bad about the tarot decks. There's gorgeous tarot decks that are amazing. But it was just so like mind-blowing to me that you could do it with regular cards just through intuition. I'm like, this is amazing.
And one of the aspects of science behind that is I've been doing a lot of research and study on symbolism and the interpretation of symbolism, because a typical tarot deck is just completely riddled with symbolism and ancient symbols. And Carl Jung, who was a psychiatrist, did a study of the tarot because, and just, to summarize a little bit of what he's done, was that on one hand, the interpretation of symbolism, it activates the same area of the brain where intuition lies. So when you're looking at a card, it's giving you the medium in order to interpret what you're sensing energetically from the person sitting across from you.
Okay, that's awesome.
Thanks. And for me, it's 50-50 nature-nurture, because on one hand, I've naturally been intuitive, but on the other hand, I've done an entire career at the federal government and have done 3 different departments and have had training such as interrogation skills training that honed my skills on how to read people. To pair that with natural intuition, there are times where, I have freaked people out. So, but to combine the two is really kind of neat, and it's quite, I wouldn't want to say controversial. It's different, depending on the client, because a lot of clients will come for healing and not really understand themselves what the problem is or what the root of the problem is. So by inviting them, if they're interested and if they're open to that, by doing a tarot reading, it helps me to delve into their subconscious to find their own blocks, find their own barriers. And a lot of times it's out of date beliefs that they weren't aware, their own script that they carry with you, the self-talk that you're not aware that you're doing. So that tends to draw out with a tarot consultation, so that when we can go then into the intake for touch treatment, it's much more specific to what we uncovered subconsciously.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Thanks.
And I can resonate with that too, because I know like when I was starting this like introduction to spirituality and crystals, and like just on the very tip of the iceberg of what all this was when I was still in corporate, and being like, I don't know if I can get on board that crystals have energy, but like if I look at a rose quartz and it like reminds me to love myself, I can get on board with that. When I was like that level of my journey, I was super called to do this kind of like find out your purpose and your passion kind of workshop, and it was in a crystal shop, and the woman who owned it did readings and stuff like that. So after a couple sessions where I was trusting her, kind of like didn't really understand that I was feeling her vibe, feeling her energy, but really trusted her, really loved her, and just was like, oh my God, like you figured out how to be happy in life. This is awesome. I trusted her enough to go into that kind of reading. And it was mind blowing to like see the incredible detail of what she was able to give me. Absolutely. And it was a huge shift because I knew I was headed towards a burnout. I knew I was going to like not be able to sustain the way I was like being a workaholic for forever. And she flat out was like, if you keep doing this, by the time you're 40, you're going to have cancer or a disease or something like that. That's really going to be bad. And I'm like, fuck, that feels real. I'm going to have to change some shit.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like if we continue in the way that we're doing negative things in our life and like those unhealthy things where we're like, okay, there's something wrong here, something off, and we don't look at it and like have that clarity to be like, this could be a potential reality if I continue down this path on the journey.
Exactly.
It's so important to see that so that we can heal. So then I was like Reiki and all the healing ways and just like dive right into all the work and the books and all the things. So I love that you like offer that to people so that they can see how important that is on their like life path.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned crystals, and again, like everything has science behind it, because you know the crystals are now have been used in technology.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way, you know that they resonate with an electromagnetic field, and different crystals resonate at a different frequency.
Yep.
So it makes sense that crystals are a powerful tool in healing.
Definitely.
Because then when you look at the entire structure of the body, the energetic body, how each chakra resonates at a different frequency, the entire body. The heart chakra actually has a bigger frequency than the rest of the body. Everybody thinks the brain is the one with the bigger frequency. I was recently listening to a conference with Greg Braden, and he was talking about a relatively recent discovery that the heart actually contains some 40,000 brain cells, brain-like cells. So the heart has its own mind. So when you're struggling to make a decision and your heart and mind are conflicting, that's because there are two minds trying to make a decision.
Yep.
So you can't discount how powerful the heart energy is. So whenever, with the healing touch, everything is heart-centered in healing touch, and a lot of other modalities too. So when you're coming into my space for treatment, the first thing that you're made aware of is this is a safe space, and the environment is created for each individual so as to bring them into an optimal frame of mind and frame of physicalness so that they can heal themselves. I had a client last night who described it as if her body was asleep, but her mind was still there. And that is an interesting and wonderful way of describing it, because when your body is asleep and your mind is still there, there's that, not quite a disconnect, but it's as if your mind at this point is simply your soul, aware of what's going on, but the rest of you is in that state of ultimate peace where the body, the mind, the spirit, and the emotions are healing themselves. And that's really the point of healing touch, is that I'm not the one to heal you. I'm the one to create an environment in which you can heal yourself. Because when you scratch your hand, nobody comes in to intervene. Your body heals itself. Right. So it's taking that times 100.
Yes. So cool. And I love that you said that about the heart, because that's been a continual thing in my journey where I'm like, I need to get out of my head and into my heart and trust my heart and go with the heart and like keep surrendering to that. So that's amazing to know that it has that higher vibration.
Absolutely.
And like people even say, sorry?
And its own brain.
Yes. Mhm. Very cool. And people even say, like, if you're in your head, you're dead. Like, if you just are only in there, like, it's not going to work for you. So
Yeah.
it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Christy just commented. So that's why, as mothers, we often make decisions with our hearts and have a hard time going with what your mind tells you to do. I know I find myself in conflict with myself, my heart versus my mind. Yeah, definitely. I can totally resonate with that.
Yeah.
And then it's important to get quiet and like see what you're really being guided to do.
Absolutely.
And then other people are popping on. So Bridget said hello. Lovely to join you. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining us. And Christy said hello earlier. And you guys can always feel free to say hi, even if you're catching the replay. I love to engage with you guys. So also feel free to share it with anyone else who needs to get this healing message too. Yes. So do you want to explain a little bit more about the science and the connection with nature and all those parts of Earthwhims?
Yeah, absolutely. I found that for myself, nature was very healing. I mean, like the majority of people around, everybody's had trauma in one way or another.
Yeah.
And spending time in nature really helps to put things in perspective. So I like to bring people out in nature to help them gain some perspective in order, like you said, to get out of their head.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get caught in the thoughts as having more validity than they should have.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quote that I read recently that said, "Don't believe everything that you think."
Yes, so true.
It is so true. And just because it pops into your mind, it doesn't mean that you have to go with it or become friends with it and allow it to move in and unpack, you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So nature doesn't do that. So by reconnecting to nature and really learning to shed your idiosyncrasies and your barriers and your beliefs and watch what's going on naturally and how things just flow and interconnect naturally. That's really where your own perception and your own shift starts to happen.
Yeah.
There is a lot of science too behind it where, you know, my tagline for Earthwhims is where science and spirit merge, because when I started my own spiritual development and did some reading, I became so voracious in learning more that it ultimately brought me to quantum physics.
Nice.
Once I started to understand that actually everything is energy, absolutely everything is energy. You hyper magnify anything that you want to look at, and it just you get beyond quarks to oscillating energy. So when you look at quantum physics and the creation of the universe, which still scientists are talking about the Big Bang as the origination, or the originator of life as we know it, everything that emanated from that Big Bang was the building blocks for who we are now. So the iron in our blood, for example, is from star matter. So when you think about it from that perspective, you know, that old song from the 70s that we are stardust is because scientifically that's exactly what it is. All the building blocks for our bodies, for our universe, for our world comes from star matter.
Very cool.
So when you look at it from that perspective, then you can start to go from the micro into the macro, and you start from the molecular level and the oscillating energy, and then grow into the world around you. From that perspective, I find it becomes so much clearer what goes on. So when you're still in the micro level, things like molecular memory is another aspect of research that I've been into recently, where your body completely regenerates itself. Every 7 years, there's not one cell in your body that was with you 7 years ago. When you have that in your mind as you go forward, whatever trauma, as I mentioned before, that you've had in the past, if you have it as an intention as you're going forward to not carry that trauma as your cells are regenerating, then that molecular memory becomes starts to shift. And your new cells are developing as someone who has not been traumatized. So you can let go of the victim mentality and go forward as a survivor, as a warrior, basically. Warrior-ess. So, and there's so much science behind it, and I give little tidbits. I don't want to make this a science class. So my workshops and my retreats have a little bit of scientific exercises and games and and tidbits of information for people to start to really change how they look at the world around them and kind of envelop their own philosophy and their own mentality as they go forward. You know, I like to give them a little box of Timbits, and then they can go home and make dessert with it.
Exactly. Very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
There's a thing that I was going to say, and it totally left me, like, as I was saying that. Yeah, with the quantum physics, like, it's so interesting because some people are like kind of against the woo-woo world or spirituality, or like they have negative thoughts around that because they don't understand how important and foundational science is to everything, and how energy is science, and how everything is like that. So I love that you explain that to people and really like put it out there so that they can understand it, and then take it home so that they can be like, okay, this resonates with me. And like, we can learn so many things from so many different people. Like, I know I used to be a little bit in my head about, oh, this one person seems to have it figured out, I should do everything that they're doing because then that'll work out exactly for me. It's like, no, you'll find a bunch of different mentors, a bunch of coaches and healers and guides on your journey. And then you can take each little piece that you need that really resonates with you, that like strikes your heart, that hits you. Then you can make that own perfect puzzle for yourself, for your health. And like the whole, we regenerate every 7 years. That's amazing because like we can set those intentions to be better and better every day in every way, and heal and eat better and eat raw and eat cleaner, and like know that those things are going to contribute to our health over and over and over and over. And that just because we did something bad in the past doesn't mean that's going to hang on to us for the next 70 years kind of thing. To be empowered with that knowledge, to know that we have the ability and full capability to change ourselves and to grow and expand from that.
And I like to, you know, incorporate a little bit of information too for people about how the body doesn't just stop at the skin. If we touch, we learn about the energetic body and the energetic template of the body, that you were born with a certain energetic matrix where your cells adhere to create the form that you're walking around in, having a human experience as a spiritual being. Right? So, and when things happen, either physical, emotional, spiritual, or mental, that that energetic body gets chinks in it, chinks and dents and so on and so forth. So by smoothing out those chinks and dents with healing touch energy therapy, helps the body remember where it's supposed to go back to: the spirit, the emotional body, every layer of the person. So wherever your bubble is, you know, when somebody steps into your bubble, that's the edge of your transpersonal space. So I don't end here. I end about out here. You know what I mean? So that's part of the healing that needs to happen. So definitely you hit on the good food and the fresh air and the exercise, but a lot of it has to do with our mind, our heart, that expands outward, and then how, you know, the environment that you create for yourself.
For sure.
With where you were.
Loving it too. We're all on board. Okay, so then I'm super excited for this next part. So if you didn't remember to bring your plant, I encourage you to get your plant right now. So everyone can go take a minute if you need to get your plant. I have a beautiful jade. I was like, I have so many to choose from. I was like, should I get something that's flowering? But then some of them didn't get as much love when I went to Florida for Life and Wealth Mastery. So I'm like, some of them don't look as healthy as the jade. So I'm using a jade. What one are you using, Jackie?
I have a little baby lemon tree.
Awesome.
Started from lemons. She also started an avocado for me.
Ooh, very nice.
Well on camera. So I'm going to work with the lemon tree.
Awesome.
So this is just a little tiny meditation that I teach my clients on reconnecting with nature. So it's just a very foundational starting block. It's called tree breath. And I usually do this when we go out on nature walks and take them up to a particular tree. And I'll stand there and I'll challenge them to look at the tree and to think, do you have a particular emotional connection with this tree? Do you have a particular affinity with this tree? Do you have a particular relationship with this tree? And most people will say, no, I don't know this tree. Was it planted in someone's honor? So the association automatically becomes part of our own experience. So what I will then bring them to do, and I invite everyone who's on with us today, if you have a little plant with you, is to look at this plant and become aware of the fact that as I'm exhaling, this plant is absorbing the CO2 that I'm exhaling, and it's creating oxygen that it then exhales, that then I breathe in. So slowly, you can see that cycle of life that starts to happen between myself and this little baby lemon tree. And the same goes when you're walking in nature and you're walking through blades of grass, you're walking through your garden, your little purple petunias are doing it for you. Your grass that you haven't cut because it's been raining and is growing too long is doing it for you. The neighbor's tree that drops all its leaves on your lawn that you have to clean up every fall, it's doing it for you. So by doing this meditation in nature with your house plants, with whatever greenery that you have that's alive and thriving, is going to bring you into connection with the natural world around you so that you understand at what level your life depends on this blade of grass and this little lemon tree and this maple tree next door, so that you become a little bit more reverent of nature around you. And that translates then to your food. You begin to understand that your food doesn't come from Sobeys or the superstore, but it comes from that layer of soil that wraps the entire globe of the universe that we live on. And to have a little bit more, as I said, reverence and respect for the natural world, because it's what's keeping us alive. Butterflies and bees pollinating, permitting our vegetables and our fruits to growing to feed us every day. It seems so mundane to be holding this little 4-leaf baby lemon plant, but it's life itself. And not in a corny, cuckoo, woo-woo kind of way, but in a really scientifically valid way. So that's what I invite people in. If you don't have a plant with you to do this meditation in the dryness of your home while it's pouring rain out,
Yeah.
outside, just take a moment to stand by a tree or sit in the grass and do that meditation and really become aware of that cycle of your breath, the tree breath, so that you really become connected with that, and then it expands and expands beyond that. And you'll be amazed at how much your perception goes completely wacko for the rest of the day after you've done this meditation. It doesn't take much to change your perception. And from there, you breed your own development, your own healing, and you can really grow from there.
I love that.
Good. I love your jade. You should
Thank you.
Of that next time you come to town.
I will, definitely. And Michelle says that's a gorgeous jade too. And I actually got it from Jess Neary. I was at the St. John's Soul Fair last year, and I got a jade from her. And then when I transitioned from my offices in January, I put my jade, it was like a smaller jade, underneath a fan, like a vent. And I didn't realize. So when I went away for a week, it dried it out. So then I think I was overwatering it to try to fix it, because I was like, oh my gosh, I put it in, like, I didn't even think about the air vent and how it's going to dry out my jade and the placement of where I was putting my plants in my office. But I kind of killed it. So then she was very amazing and nice enough to find me this beautiful one. So I am so grateful. So definitely check out Jess if you guys are like wanting to know about different types of plants in your homes. She's amazing, has such a wealth of information about everything amazing that you can really like nurture yourself and your environment in. So I really recommend you do that. And Lisa put a little love face. I love it. Very cool.
There you go.
Oh, sorry, I was meaning to do that, and then Michelle went right in. I love this. I have a new focus when I'm weeding my gardens. Yeah, you're welcome. That's so awesome. Very cool. And yeah, when I was connecting to it, I could like almost sense the different branches, because I was like not just focused on like one particular thing. So like I kind of got a bunch of the different strains, because I know that there's quite a few different ones in here.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's really cool. And then I also got the feeling of sending, because jade is really great for abundance. So I'm going to send the abundance of this jade out to anyone who wants it right now. So if you want it, you just have to say yes.
Yes.
And we'll, through this, send all that amazing, abundant, joyful, oxygenating, nourishing energy to you guys right now.
Absolutely. Awesome.
And then you guys can just take a really deep cleansing breath, really nurture your own bodies with that breath. Ooh, I love that. I love when I get like extra ideas to do things. I'm like, ooh, yay. Michelle's like, yes. Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that meditation with us. And I really encourage you guys to go out and ground more. Like it's really important, especially since it's summertime. We only have a couple months of this amazing, like vibrant environment where we can like go out and take our shoes off in grass. Like it's the summer. It's the summer solstice. Like it's happened. We're here. So really take time to like honor your body and the nature around you and ground yourself and take advantage of this time of year for sure. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So how can people connect with you after the show, and what are all the cool things that you're doing in your world?
They can find Earthwhims on Facebook. It's Earthwhims, all in one word. Mm-hmm. And I'm also just starting, I have a Twitter account and an Instagram account. I'm not very prolific yet because I'm not very techie. and or they can connect with me as Jacquie Daigle on Facebook. Awesome. Either way. And if people wanted to private message me, I have a workshop coming up on Sunday, July 15th. Mm-hmm. And I have 4 workshops that I'm currently working on, and they're all seasonal. So this is the summer workshop called Synchronicity. Mm-hmm. This is the one where you really learn to get unstuck. This is where you're going to learn what your own limiting beliefs are, what your own limiting thought patterns are, and how to release those so that you can get back into your law of attraction vibe that I know we've all been in at some point, and then step it into the law of synchronicity. So whoever wants to PM me a little one-liner as to why you want to take part in this workshop, I'll do a draw and I'll honor somebody with a free pass.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a $50 value. The workshop is running Sunday at my place in Lower Coverdale, New Brunswick, just outside of Riverview. Mm-hmm. And it's 10 to 3, and that includes lunch prepared by me because I happen to be a foodie.
Yes.
And so it's going to be a lot of fun. Bring walking shoes because if weather permits, we are going to go out on the marsh and walk along the river. Mm-hmm. Not very far, but far enough to make that nature connection. Mm-hmm. And I have the other 3 workshops that I'm working on are all, like I said, seasonally based, and they all have different messages based on the season. So in the fall, we're going to talk about release and letting go as the leaves fall off the trees.
Yeah.
And in the winter, we're going to talk about meditation and introspection, and it's called drift.
Ooh,
it comes from the image of snow drifting across the landscape where it isn't adhering to anything. It's just being there and allowing itself to skitter across the landscape. And we can do that too. Mm-hmm. And in the spring, it's about newness and renewal and new things and new projects. And it's called Sprout.
Oh, I love that. Very cool. So can you put how they can get in contact with you in the comments right after so that it's super convenient?
Yeah, I'll throw the links in, and I'll also throw the link for the event for Synchronicity.
Awesome.
A little bit more information, and then indicate that they're coming or if they're interested. And if they want more information, they can certainly PM me from there.
Very cool. And what is the law of synchronicity?
Synchronicity is when you, okay, so without giving too much of it away.
Okay, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I was like, for anyone who doesn't understand the law of attraction or who is unfamiliar with those, share whatever you feel.
Okay, well, it always starts with becoming clear with what we want. So that's where the vision boards come in, and the New Year's resolutions. Like, we become so clear, especially the beginning of a new year. We feel fresh, we feel renewed, we write it all down, we cut out pictures from magazines, and we know what we want. This is sort of your mid-year review of where you're at with that, and how's it working, and how much of it have you achieved. So if you haven't gotten quite where you want to be yet, we're going to examine what, like I said, with your limiting beliefs, what's been holding you back. But a lot of times it's not knowing where to step, not knowing what action to take. And that's the action is what's required for attraction to connect with synchronicity.
Yes.
So when you take action, then it's as if the universe goes, ha, finally, she made a decision.
Yes.
Showing you signs. But the key to synchronicity, and that's what we're going to learn in the workshop, is how to recognize signs and how to act upon them. So instead of looking at what it's supposed to look like, you can focus on the rest outside of your blinders.
Yep.
Really notice what's going on around you so that you can take advantages of opportunities. Opportunities are knocking on the front door usually when you're out in the backyard weeding your own garden, you know, or trying to come up with a new plan. So yeah, I'm gonna shake the cage.
Very cool. And it's so true. Like when you decide and meet the universe halfway, it's already there. Like you just have to say yes to it and do what you've been shown and been called to do. Like that keeps happening over and over in my life when like I finally give in and I let go of those fears and I'm just like, I'm gonna do this. And then it's like, oh, it's right here. It's like, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being amazing today. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom and being so generous with our tribe and sharing that amazing experience with people. I'm so excited for that. Michelle's like, perfect. More love faces. Love it. Love it. So I encourage you guys to share this out with your friends and loved ones who need this message, who need to understand that there is science behind all this energy healing and work and need to understand how they can get unstuck and really nurture their body and their environment and have that deeper connection and be happier from it. So I really encourage you guys to do that when you feel called. And thank you guys for tuning in and for being the light and being the change and doing these amazing things. So I encourage you to make the Love Light Show a weekly habit in your life. We'll be back again next Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern. And if those workshops were calling to you earlier, the ones that I'm doing the last time live, because I'm moving into a whole new transition in my business and up-leveling of stuff, definitely reach out to me if those are calling to you. So have a wonderful week, and I'm sending you so much love and light. Bye.
Bye. Blessings.